It's me, John Laval. I wanted to tell you a little bit about zoo animals. The zoos are all over the place in small towns now, and they're pretty well in every city there is. And the one thing you should know about zoos, the zoos were usually established years ago, probably back in the 40s and stuff, and they were of a certain size. I mean, they bought so much real estate and set up facilities for pretty well every animal that they can get their hands on, because zoos generate a lot of money. And if you go back in history, like back to the original zoo setup, you'll note that say like wild cats, lions, tigers, whatever, were kept in small cages that were probably about 10 feet, maybe 12 feet, and they would pace back and forth because they were stressed out. I mean, this is not a natural life for them. And so if you had a lot of animals and you're keeping them under these conditions, you didn't have to buy that much real estate. But then they discovered that, activists would come through and say, this is not proper for these animals to live like this. They're stressed out, which is true. So now they have to, within the size of the zoo, they have to now accommodate for more natural living, outdoors. Lions like to lay around in fields and stuff, and it's very, very hard to contain these animals in such a small area. And so this is why I thought, and see, the zoos can't really expand because they're in the middle of the city, and real estate is very expensive, and usually it's been developed around the zoo. So it's not like you can go in there and start buying out these skyscrapers and extending the boundaries of the zoo. Most of the time, cities would establish a new area and develop a new zoo that's got additional acreage, which was good. But the unnatural living of these animals is another issue. It's probably why they have trouble breeding animals. You take like lions. A lion's effort in getting food is pretty impressive. I mean, they'll spend days hunting, trying to get an animal down so they can consume it. A lion in a zoo doesn't hunt. He doesn't spend days doing anything other than laying around, which is unhealthy for the animal because the genetic disposition of this animal is that he's to get up and hunt as part of his psychic is part of his mindset, we'll say. And the way they're fed it, I mean, they just throw a piece of meat over the fence, and so he's getting his nutrition, but he's not getting his the whole mental setup is not there. Whether he enjoys hunting or, I don't know what his feelings are towards hunting, but that part is missing anyways. And this holds true for most animals. I mean, most animals put an effort into finding food. If they didn't, they'd be all, huge. There'd be too much food available. There's no effort to get it. So they actually exercise their weight off trying to get more food. And it's a good natural system, and zoos don't provide that because it's really an artificial environment. And it's good for people who want to see animals, but it's not good for the animals. And then you get elephants that are in northern the States and up in Canada, where they're basically put in a shed in the wintertime. It's heated, but this poor animal really has nothing to do, and there's no walking space. He's just stands around with other animals for months waiting for the spring to come, and it's not good. See, they're trying to move them down to the southern states, which I think is a good idea, and you want to make sure they got lots of room to walk around. I mean, I'm not saying we have to bend over backwards for animals, but we should have some, decentness to them, some type of a kind, or be thoughtful. That's all I'm saying is, we shouldn't torture them, torment them, or make them feel, affect them psychologically. And some animals are fine in zoos; they don't require a lot of room. If you get into reptiles and stuff like that, these setups are fine, and these animals' intellect is as such that it would bother them anyways. But the higher thinking animals are emotionally affected by their circumstances. They're not going to tell you, but they feel mental anguish, and it's probably why they have a lot of trouble having offspring, because nature would state that if the animal is mentally in a state of anguish all the time, that this is not, it wouldn't allow it to have offspring, because it would be bringing the offspring into the same environment, and genetically over time it would basically destroy the animal. So nature stops it there, so that this process doesn't hit the next generation. Anyways, that's all I thought I'd tell you about zoos. See ya.